Uh, last time we have completed the definition and the derivation of failure criteria. So today I told you that I'm going to show you an example of this failure criteria, how we utilize it. There are many examples, but one of them I'm going to show you. But before that, if I may write the MC criteria as f of sigma 1, sigma 3 is sigma 1 minus sigma 3 and phi minus 2c square root of n phi. And if I can write the Hooke and Brown same function, and this is 0, sigma 1 sigma 3 is sigma 1 minus sigma 3 minus sigma ci mb sigma 3 by sigma ci plus s power a. Now if I plot these two, I think you already know that if this is sigma 1 and sigma 3, one is nonlinear like that and another is probably, let's say, even if I put there or something like this, linear. So definitely this is MC and this is Hooke and Brown. Now one thing what we can do, whether these two criteria are equivalent to each other. If somebody asks us like that, or how do you make it equivalent? As you know, this is for intact rock and this is for rock mass. Because I told you this ASAMB has GSI, and which is coming from rock mass classification. So then how do we compare? Now one of the way to compare is, if I take any point here, and then if I draw a tangent here, and if I assume this tangent is my MC criteria at that particular point, then I can probably make an attempt to make them equivalent. So if I go by this process, then basically the slope at this point is equals to the slope of this MC criteria. So slope of MC criteria we already know, which is n phi. So we have to find out the slope of these. So you can find d sigma by d sigma 3, and this one will be, can anybody tell me what will be this? So we are getting 1 plus sigma 3a mb sigma 3 sigma ci plus s to the power a minus 1. So this is the slope of this blue color line, that tangent, and this must be equals to n phi. So, oh sorry, There is no sigma 3. You are not telling me I made a mistake. So this must be equals to okay, this must be equals to n phi. So now one can say that oops, just a minute. Where did my cursor go? So I can write if the same definition if I follow 1 plus 1 plus sine phi m by 1 minus sine phi m. Now let me tell you what is phi m. Phi m is the equivalent friction angle for rock mass. If I assume like that way, then I will be able to now calculate the phi m also. Okay, so this equivalent property of rock mass, the equivalent friction property of rock mass, I can find out from here. Okay, and then remains is we have to find out this Cm. And how we will find out Cm? Because now I already know the slope, and I already know slope, and as well as this one. So the n phi is now known. So now I'll be able to calculate C, because these this one sigma 3 is 0 for this case, right? So if I put sigma 3 is 0, then this n phi become my this value here 1 plus MBA. Then I will be able to find out sigma Cm. Sigma Cm from this. So let me give you the formula. This is, I am telling you from chapter 9. I am also giving you the page number. Just a minute. And I will find that out.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So differentiation would be in negative sign because sigma 3 and sigma Ci are in negative.
I didn't get sigma.
Sir, before sigma 3 there is a negative sign, and before sigma Ci there is a negative sign. So differentiation would be in negative sign.
Yeah, that equals to 0 na. So that will go in that side. Positive
Okay,
side.
okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. Isn't it? You got that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is in page number 255, chapter what? 9. Chapter 9. Page 255. So now sigma Cm, M is this rock mass, if we say. This actually I am writing from the book. I guess it is correct. Sigma 3 n phi minus 1 plus sigma Ci mb sigma 3 sigma Ci plus s power a. Okay, so this becomes sigma Cm right from comparing these two. We can find out sigma Cm, means we are putting it how you got directly sigma 3. Yeah, right. So this one, this value we are replacing here. Okay, this value we are replacing here. Is it so? Yeah, right. So this is basically sigma Cm. This is what I'm calling as sigma Cm. So this I'm replacing here, and when you replace that, you get this. So this sigma Cm is nothing but 2 Cm square root of n pi. So from here, you will be directly find out Cm basically, and the angle you can directly find from here. So Cm and phi m can be obtained, but here only thing is you have to give a sigma 3. This for a given sigma 3, this is you are calculating, because you can see as you are changing this thing, so the tangent also changes. So phi m and Cm will change. Okay, phi m and Cm will change. So that is what this is giving us. This, if you try to make it equivalent Cm and phi m, if you want to find that, what will be the equivalent frictional angle and cohesion value, then this is one of the way to find out. This is one of the way. The reason is this is not the only way. Okay, there is another method. It is such a big equation, so I am not going to write it here.
Sigma Cm here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, what is sigma Cm here?
This is cohesion for rock mass. See, rock mass is fractured, right? Last time I showed you jointed fractured.
Sir, I'm asking sigma Cm.
Oh, sigma Cm, this one. This is nothing but this value. 2 Cm square root n phi, this entire thing. Because this is basically rock mass. So this is what I have written. This is sigma Cm. Okay. So this is equals to this. Now you can find out Cm from here. All are known. You see sigma Ci known, Mb known, S known, A known. Okay, sigma Ci already told you. N phi will come from that phi m. Okay, this phi m will be known. So we will be able to calculate it. Okay. Is that clear? So what you have to calculate first is this. N phi is this value. This is first you have to calculate. Once you know n phi, this value is known, this is known, this is known, this is known, and this will be given. For a given sigma 3 you are calculating. Okay, and all are from rock mass property you are calculating. Okay. So this is equivalent friction and cohesion we can find out. Friction angle and cohesion. Now in page 253, there is another method is given, and this is the one of the correct way we do it, and it is given by Hooke only. What the assumption is, you can see the book for the formula. It is a pretty big formula. I'm not going to write it. What they have assumed is and let's say this is the red one I have not found out yet. The Hooke and Brown thing I know. Hooke and Brown criteria I know how it is. Now what they are saying is, let us find a Mohr Coulomb line such that I give some value here, that is given sigma 3 max. Okay, I give a value at sigma 3 max, and how to find out this sigma 3 max, that is also they have given, and I have also given in the book. There is a formula. Okay, for tunnel one formula, for slope another formula, they have given it. Now I am looking for a line, a red line, which is Mohr Coulomb line, such that the area, if I subtract the area, that means this much, this area is minimized, so that the difference between Hookenbrunn criteria and Mohr Coulomb criteria, the difference is minimized. Okay, so that means you have to play with this sigma cm here. This is sigma cm and this phi m. This is the two parameter here. So if you play with these two parameter, for what value this area is minimized. Now by doing that, they develop this formula. And sorry, this is not cm. This is sigma cm. Okay, so by doing that, I have written wrong. This is also not phi m. This is some psi, and tan psi is n phi m. Okay. So we are looking for this sigma cm and phi m such that this area is minimized, the difference in these two. So for that, you have to give as this value sigma 3, what is the maximum value. So you can see this need to be integrated, and all these things they have done. After doing that, they have given what will be the phi m and what will be the sigma cm, so that we can calculate the cohesion also. Okay, so with this concept, they have developed these formulas and given in the book, page number 253. So it's a pretty big formula, that's why I'm not writing. Okay. So you can look into that. Is that clear? How we make these two equivalent, more or less? Okay.
Excuse me, sir. So if you draw a tangent on the curve, then area will be 0 between line and curve. In that case, area will be minimized.
No. See, this is a particular sigma 3 max is given. Okay. So if you draw a tangent here, it will be tangent some around here. So the difference may be very high also.
No, sir. I am saying tangent at the point where it is intersecting sigma 1 axis.
Here. So it will go like this.
Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir,
the
then.
sigma 3, it will be very high. You understand?
For a given sigma 3, we have to minimize the area.
Yes.
Okay.
And that given sigma 3 is given for tunnel. Let me write down. For tunnel, there is a particular formula. For slope, there is a particular formula. Okay. These formulas are given based on the in situ stress. They will give. Okay. So sigma 3 max is given. They have also, there is a thing called, you may search in the net also, rock science, I think. And this rock science, this is a Canadian company. They make lot of softwares, almost 13, 11 or 13 softwares, all related to geomechanics. So one of the thing is called rock data, and they use that formulas. They convert laboratory data to rock mass data. The one software name is rock data or rock lab, I think. Rock data or rock lab. Either of these two. And they use these formulas to okay in that. So it's a just 4 or 5 formulas, that's it. Nothing much. Okay. Now I give you the example of Moore Coulomb criteria where we actually use. I have already told you the stresses in underground opening. I have told you in many times that the stress is concentrated here in this corner. Now we have calculated a safety factor, if you remember, sigma Ci by sigma theta theta. Now let's say for some reason if this is less than 1, I told you this will fail. Okay. So this will fail if it is less than 1. Now the question is, if it fails, what happened? How much it does fail? How much? How much in the sense? How far it will go, this failure? Is it fail all along? Do you think that everything is failed or certain distance and then it stops? What do you think?
Sir, certain distance.
Now it will be until certain distance it will fail, and after that it will stop. Can you tell me why? Your answer is correct, but can you tell me why? You already know the answer.
Sir, maybe after certain distance, stress will become in situ.
No, it will not go that far. It will stop before this. Okay.
Sir, with distance sigma theta theta.
Huh?
Sir, with distance sigma theta theta will decrease, so safety factor will increase.
Yes. And what about sigma 3? What is this? Sigma 3 in there. In here, what is sigma 3? This is you are saying sigma 1, right? Then what is sigma 3?
Sigma
Remember
RR.
I plotted the sigma 3 increases and sigma 1 decreases. This is sigma 1 and this is sigma 3. Sigma RR. This is for k equals to 1. This condition. So you see sigma 3 increases very rapidly and sigma 1 falls very rapidly. So what happened to Moore Coulomb? What Moore Coulomb is saying that this should be less than 0 for safety. So you see sigma 1 decreases, this is increases. So this will very quickly go negative. So negative means safe, positive means fail in this formula. Okay. So now we will be able to find out that distance from this Moore Coulomb using this Moore Coulomb. Now how do we find that out? Okay, Moore Coulomb is telling us that the failure will be until certain distance. But now we can find that out. Now, how do I find out? This I am telling you now. Okay, let me erase a little bit so that I can now draw. We'll be using k equals to 1 only, and there is a particular reason why we will be using k equals to 1. Because at k equals to 1, what is tau r theta? Can anybody tell me? In Carr solution, what is tau r theta at k equals to 1?
0.
0. So at k equals to 1, tau r theta is 0, meaning there is no shear stress. So this plane then, at any point, if I have a sigma theta theta and sigma rr, this is nothing but principal stresses. So this is my sigma 1, this is my sigma 3, I can always say. Because tau r theta doesn't exist in this plane. So this is a principal plane we are working with. So if k is not equals to 1, then whatever I am going to tell you now is not applicable. Okay, because there will be tau r theta. So definitely sigma 1, sigma 3, I cannot replace by sigma theta theta and sigma rr. Okay, so the formula will not be right. So whatever the formula I will be now deriving, it's for k equals to 1 only. If you require anything other than k equals to 1, then we have to go into numerical analysis. By analytically finding out the equation is more or less impossible, but lot of hard work will be required there. So now we are in a situation, let's say, I use another color. This is where this zone is elastic and this is where it has failed, and we call it plastic. That means the failure has come up to this, and this we define as a RE. So this E nothing but elastic plastic boundary. This red is nothing but elastic plastic boundary. Okay, and this radius is A, as it is before. Okay, now since it's k equals to 1, at it is theta independent. Okay, the stresses are theta independent also. So since it is also theta independent, so we can write now from your chapter 4, d sigma rr by dr is equals to sigma theta theta minus sigma rr by r. If you are thinking from where this equation has come, so this is the equation number 4.70, and I am telling you the page number also. Page number 107. What it says is, for a polar coordinate system, del sigma rr by del r, this is the stress equilibrium equation. Sigma rr minus sigma theta theta by r plus 1 by r del tau r theta by del theta plus some br is 0. This is the generalized equation. Now here, this is 0. Br is coming from body force. We are assuming it to be 0 for this point of time. So ultimately, this is what it remains. So now you can see this sigma RR and sigma theta theta is only function of R. So I can write it with only I can write the ordinary differential equation rather than partial differential equation because it's theta independent. So this is basically coming directly from stress equilibrium equation. Okay, we can write this. Now this is the basis of the development of this equation. Now here the Mohr Coulomb has already told us that sigma theta theta has a limit. And what is that limit? He said it should be sigma RR some, I'm writing it with NR, I will tell you what it is. Or sorry, I will write NF. And this is 2CF square root of NF. Okay. I can write it. This is basically the Mohr Coulomb. Now, what is NF and NR? There will be a NR also. Now, this NF is nothing but same equation. 1 plus sine phi f, 1 minus sine phi f. Now, this F here represents the failed zone, means the plastic zone. So the property of the plastic zone, this is what it is referring to. And this is nothing but, we can say sigma CF. That means compressive strength of the broken rock. Okay, compressive strength of the broken rock. It is what it is telling us. Now Mohr Coulomb has already put that restriction here. So for the time being, I use sigma CF. I can also use this, but it's fine. So I will replace this in that equation. D sigma RR by dr is equals to. Now you can see this will be sigma RR NF minus 1 plus sigma CF by R. This equation becomes something like this. So now it is solvable. You can see that. So I put this one, if I replace by x, then I can say d sigma RR is equals to 1 by NF minus 1 dx, right? So now I'm going to replace it. 1 by NF minus 1 dx by x is equals to dr by r. Okay, everybody is with me? So it is just I'm solving this differential equation, is a very simple thing. Now I'm going to put some, I have to integrate it. Now I'm going to put some boundary condition now. Say R is this radial distance and this is going from A to RE. This is going from A to RE. Now at A, let me draw it here again, otherwise I have to go back and forth. So I'm drawing it again, same thing. This is A and this is RE. Now let's say at A, we have applied that Pi. So we have Pi, which is sigma RR. So I can write it Pi NF minus 1 plus sigma CF at A. And at here, let's assume we have certain radial stress, which is sigma RE. Mind that sigma RE and sigma RE, both of them we do not know. We do not know. So this will be sigma RE NF minus 1 plus sigma CF. This is the boundary condition of this. Okay, now we will be able to at least form a
Excuse me.
equation. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, can you explain boundary condition once again?
Okay. See, for my R boundary condition is from A to RE, right? Because I'm only talking about plastic zone here, the failed zone. So R is going from here to here only, A to RE, correct? This much. Now at
Yes.
A, what is my boundary condition? Let's say I applied a internal pressure, PI. So this PI, if I give, this is the X, so I will put it in PI here. So this is my, for A, that will be the value of X. And let's assume this is an unknown, sigma RE, which is the radial stress at the elastoplastic boundary. This is a very important elastic, the confining stress or the radial stress. I will tell you the importance of this. This is we call sigma RE. The meaning is this is the radial stress at elastoplastic boundary. Okay. And this is this sigma RE. So I am replacing it at sigma RE and this. Is that clear?
Yes.
Now
Sir.
here sigma RE and RE both are unknown. I still do not know what is these values. So I will be at best able to now form a equation from this. And that equation is, I'm writing directly. If you want to do it in your home, you can derive that equation, but I'm writing directly. Okay. CF cot phi F plus PI RE by A NF minus 1 minus CF cot phi F. This is one equation we get from there. Okay, now here you can say, you can ask me, sir, ये CF phi F कहाँ से आ गया? So I have already told you this sigma CF is this. Okay, sigma CF you will replace it by this, and then if you expand this formula, it comes like that. So this is just equation. Let's say equation number 1. Okay, just equation. Now the what it's saying is, you give me a RE, I will give you a sigma RE. Okay, but I still do not know what is RE. I still do not know what is sigma RE. Okay, is that clear so far? Okay. Now I come to calculate this sigma RE, whether I can find something out of it. Okay, first I go from elastic side. Now let me draw it again. Now I'm drawing the red one. Let's say this is sigma RE, or sorry, RE, and there is an internal radial stress sigma RE. There is a K P naught and here is a P naught. Okay. Can you tell me what will be sigma theta theta at any point using Kerr solution? Sigma theta theta at any point, because it will be the same. This will be sigma RE, that is PI plus P naught minus, sorry, sigma RE by 2, 1 plus K Okay, 1 plus k. Then you will write that equation 1 plus re square by r square. Here r greater than re or equals to also you can put, isn't it? Everybody understood this equation from Carr's solution I have written. If anybody didn't understand, please raise your hand. Who did not understand this? Or everybody got it? Okay, I can move forward, right?
Sir,
Huh.
sir, there
What
is
is the
one more
term?
term, one
Huh?
plus. Sir, there is one more term, one
Yeah,
one
that
minus
is
k
k
something.
equals to 1, na? So 1 minus k. So that is I am not writing. It is theta independent.
Okay.
That k is still
Okay,
1.
sir.
K is 1 here. Okay. So now I will put right at the boundary r equals to re. What happened? I used black color. P naught minus sigma re by 2. This will be 2 into this is also this thing. So this is 2. So this one will come 2 P naught minus sigma re. So sigma theta theta at any point there from the elastic side. This is where coming from the elastic side is 2 P naught minus sigma re. Okay. Now I come from the plastic side. What happened? Okay. If I come from the plastic side, meaning if I see what will be the value right if I come here, what is the value right here? This is I'm saying what will be the value if I coming from this point. Now if I come from this side, what will be the value this? This is what I'm trying to find that out. Now you see what Mohr-Coulomb has said. Again I will go to the Mohr-Coulomb. According to Mohr-Coulomb, this is the last, this point or any point on this line is the last point or the last circle where Mohr-Coulomb is satisfied. This is the last point where Mohr-Coulomb is satisfied. In other words, I can say from plastic side, sigma theta theta will be something we call NR, sigma RR, or in this case sigma RE, plus sigma CR. Now, here let me tell you what is CR. This R means intact rock. Okay. We are calling it intact rock because right here we assume that this is not the fractured rock. This is the starting of the intact rock. So we are using the rock property. So sigma CR will be 2CR square root of NR. So this NR is again we will write 1 plus sine phi r, that is the rock property, intact rock property, and 1 minus sine phi r. Okay, not the fractured, not F. We will be using the intact rock property. So this is the last line for Mohr-Coulomb. After that, it is elastic. Up to this, it is plastic. Okay. So now these two must be same. because there must be a stress continuity, otherwise problem. Okay, so if we assume there is a stress continuity here, then these two are same. So I will write 2 P naught minus sigma re is equals to NR sigma re plus sigma CR, or I will write 2 P naught minus sigma CR divided by 1 plus NR is equals to sigma re. This is a very important formula. Okay, 2 P naught minus sigma CR, that means the compressive strength of the rock, divided by 1 plus NR is basically sigma re. And this one is called critical radial stress, where basically plasticity ends and elasticity starts. The radial stress at that boundary. Okay. Now, can I find this out? Of course, here. I know P naught. I know compressive strength of the rock because this I have tested in the laboratory. And NR I have already tested in the laboratory, phi r. So I know this value. So when I know this value, I'll be knowing sigma re. Now, if I know sigma re, what I have to do? I have to put this value in here and solve for Re. That's it. Then I know this radius, elastoplastic radius, we call it. So if I put them together, again I'm writing the equation. Let me write this equation. Re is equals to A into 2 P naught minus sigma CR cot phi F 1 plus NR divided by Pi plus CF cot phi F 1 plus NR to the power 1 by NF minus 1. This is the equation for Re. Okay, this is the equation for Re. The elastoplastic boundary. So that means from A to Re, it will be plastic, and from Re onwards, anything value above Re is elastic. Okay. So what will be then stress inside that plastic zone? So inside the plastic zone, now I can write sigma RR is equals to CF cot phi F, that initial formula. Anything R by A NF minus 1 minus CF cot phi F, and sigma theta theta will be restricted by this sigma RR, and it will be restricted by sigma CF plus NF sigma RR. It will be restricted by this value. Okay, so once we know this, you have to give just R, so we will find out, and this two formula is A less than R less than and equals to, maybe you use this. Okay, both of this equation is in between the plastic zone. Okay, so any questions so far? Or you are okay? Everybody understood? The stress distribution. I will now show you how does it look like. How does the stress changes? Let me see whether I find the one example what I have done before. I think in this class only. I'm not sure where I kept that. Okay, I think I probably didn't save. Okay, let me do it. If you have not understood, you can tell me. I'm going to solve this problem given in the book, and I think the data is in one place little wrong, so I'm going to correct that data and move ahead. Example 9.9. Are you, those who have book, you can see example 9.9. Okay. How many of you have the book now? I'm not sure.
Sir, page number?
Page number 261. Ankit Kumar Gupta and two others have the book. Very nice. Okay. It says plot tangential and radial stresses with respect to a radial distance r from a circular tunnel of radius 2.5 meter for hydrostatic stress field of 10 MPa and internal pressure of 2 MPa. Consider the Mohr Coulomb media and assume cohesion and friction angle of intact rock is this and fractured rock is this. So first I'm going to do considering both the thing are same. Okay, so A is given as 2.5 meter. P naught is given 10 MPa. Pi is given 2 MPa. Let me make it a little bigger so that you can see. This is visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
CF, right now I will, sorry, let me write first CR. CR is MPa. Phi R is given 30 degree. Let me make it radians. Right now I'm going to copy this for CF and phi F also. Okay, later on we'll change. They are right now they are same. Okay, these are the data given to you, and they said it's a Mohr Coulomb zone, so we have to use Mohr Coulomb criteria. That is what they are saying. So first and foremost thing is to find out what is the critical that sigma Re. We can either find out first what is the critical sigma Re and then Re, okay, or we can directly use that formula to calculate Re. But let me give you an very good tips here. See this equation, you pay little attention, and why I told you it is so critical and it is called critical stress. Let me divide this thing with 1 plus NR, this equation, both numerator and denominator. What I get? I get Re is equals to A 2 P naught minus sigma CR by 1 plus NR. Okay. See this become 1 plus NR. It is coming this. And this CF सॉरी इसका साथ रहेगा वो वाला PI plus CF cot phi F. I'm just dividing it. Plus this one if I do CF cot phi F by PI plus CF cot phi F, right? This is by 1 by NF minus 1. Now, here you see, if I put this one is sigma Re. You see that? This one is sigma Re. Okay, now if this is sigma Re, so this become I think I have to put Pi equals to 1 minute. I have to put what I was trying to do here. How this, oh, wait. Let me do not do this way. Let me put a restriction here that this one is equals to 1. This inside this is equals to 1. So what happened? 2 P naught minus sigma CR plus CF cot phi F 1 plus NR is equals to Pi plus CF cot phi F 1 plus NR. Now you divide it by this 1 plus NR. Now here you can see this one will cancel. So actually this is coming Pi. Now what does that mean? If this is 1, can anyone tell me what is the value of Re? A. Meaning this is my tunnel and the red one is also here. So there is no plastic zone, right? So in other words, if my Pi is equals to this, 2 P naught minus sigma CR 1 plus NR. If Pi is this, and this is nothing but sigma Re. In other words, if I can apply a internal pressure which is equals to sigma Re, then there will be no plastic zone. In other words, I can stop the failure process right there. It will not happen. So that's why it is said a very critical radial stress. If you give a Pi below that sigma Re, you are asking for failure. And if it is that value and above, then you have completely stopped the failure process. Okay, that's why it is called critical radial stress. It's very important. So I can first directly calculate either Re, or I can first calculate sigma Re, what is that value, and then also can calculate Re from this equation also, because this one I will already know. From this I can directly calculate. So let us do either way. So let me first calculate sigma Re. SRE. This is equals to 2 into P naught minus, I didn't calculate that. Let me put it here. I will calculate it. Oh, I didn't calculate many things. Just a minute. Something need to be calculated here. Sigma R. For that I calculate NR. Two into CR into square root of NR. So this MPa is my compressive strength, very low. Okay, because I've given CR is only 2 MPa. Now similarly I will calculate NF, which is equals to, let me copy that. This will be same because I use the same angle, and similar way I will copy this one and I will calculate sigma CF. Right now it will be same because all the values are same. Then I will calculate sigma Re. Now it will be easy. 2 into P naught minus sigma CR. This enter this bracket divided by 1 plus NR. So it says about 3.26 MPa. And how much you have applied? How much you have applied? So if my Pi is this, there will be no fracture, no this thing, but we applied 2 MPa. So do you expect a zone of failure?
Yes, sir.
Yes, because we could not apply 3.26. If you have applied this or more, then there would have been no fracture. Okay, so now we are expecting a value which will happen there. So I can now calculate RE very simply into A multiply by 2 into P naught minus this plus CF cot pi f. CF into 1 by 10 phi f multiply by this entire thing multiply by this. Entire thing multiply by 1 plus NR. Okay, this bracket close. Divided by Pi plus CF multiply by 1 by 10 phi f. Entire thing multiply by one plus NR. Okay, then this entire thing will be power 1 by NF minus 1. Now NF minus 1. Okay, so this should give me that value. This is giving about 2.77494. Let me see, in the book there was a calculation is little sigma RE is fine, but RE calculation is still wrong. Just a minute, let me see where did I make mistake. 2 into P naught minus B9, okay, plus CF 1 by cot F all right, this multiply by 1 plus this okay, NR B8 NR, then PI B3 plus CF cot pi F. This entire thing multiply 1 plus this. Okay, this to the power 1 by this looks fine, but RE is saying 2.77, but somehow I got it 3.139 before. So in the book it is saying 5.429. That is clearly wrong. That was not correct. But I'm saying, oh, okay, it will happen. Just a minute, let me just check. This I put 20 degree and this I put 1. And yeah, fine. Okay, so it is 2.77494 meter. So ज़्यादा नहीं हुआ, only 0.2 something. 2.5 is already the radius. So fracture zone is very little with this data. Okay, now if I have to plot the sigma theta theta and sigma RR for this condition, if I have to plot this, now what will be that? Let me just save it just a minute.
Sir, which example you are solving?
This is 9.9, but I have changed the fracture drop properties. Right now I have kept same as this.
Sir, one angle is 30 degree and one angle is 20 degree in this
Yeah,
book.
that's what I'm saying. Right now I have used the same just to show you. See, that's what I checked. See, if I make CF is 1 and this is 20, this is 3.139. So I can also do with this. This is the value. This is the exactly what is given in the book. Okay. So let us go with this. So you can cut
sigma
number.
matching.
Yeah, those are wrong. I calculated later on. Right now you write it. Sigma RE is 3.2679 and RE is 3.139 meter. Okay. This is the correct number. In the book it is not correct. Now I'm going to plot this graph. Okay. So let us plot this. Now R will start from A, right? Which is 2.5 meter. And the plastic zone, let's say up to this meter. This meter is the up to plastic zone. So I'm going to put 2.6, let's say 2.7 at different values. I'm going to put 2.9, 3.0. Okay, after that, this is my RE. Okay, this value is RE. So after this, all will be plastic zone, right? So let's say I will plot up to 7. This is my R. This is starting at A and starting at A, this is RE. So this is you may say plastic zone and rest is elastic zone. Okay. So this is how we are demarcating. From RE onward, we can say it is started elastic. So now sigma RR, I have already given you the formula. Sigma RR will be this in the plastic zone. So CF cot phi f plus pi R by A to the power NF minus 1 minus this. Okay, so let me put that equals to CF cot phi f. So CF multiply by 1 by tan phi f. So CF cot phi f. Let me write from the book. Plus pi. So this is done. Multiply by R by A. This is R by A is this. Now I'm going to fix it. Put this to the power NF minus 1. Okay, NF this one minus 1. Okay, minus CF. So I've already done that. So I copy this. Now here you see some of the thing except R, everything will remain constant as I go down. So I'll make CF constant. This is constant. This means if you put $ sign, it will be constant. Only thing what is changing is this R. So this you will not make it constant. This $sign means you're fixing that cell, whatever the value is. So this is, this will be 2 because I have applied 2 pi. Now I will move it this and you see how it is increasing. Okay, it has come up to 2.99 at 3 meter. Now from here, I'm going to use the elastic value. So elastic value will be, I can still use RE as plastic also. It doesn't matter. This is the boundary. So sigma RR is P naught by 1 minus RE square by R square. Remember that this is not S square. Now it is RE square. This is in the formula is given in page number 259. So RE we already did that. So RE square by R square. And this is square. Okay. Plus sigma RE. This multiply by RE square by R square. So let me copy this. Okay. पहले fix कर लेते हैं. Then I copy. This one will also be fixed. This is sigma RE. This is now also be fixed because this is not changing. So this is 3.26 and then I can take it and this is how sigma RR is increasing and it will gradually go towards 10 because we have given P naught. This is 10. Now sigma theta theta will be now restricted here. First I write sigma theta theta. Let's say QQ. This will be sigma CF plus NF into sigma RR. Sigma RR we have already calculated. Sigma CF we know this plus sigma RR into NF. So this one is only variable. Rest all I have to fix. Now this will be sigma theta theta and this will again I will do up to this. Okay, and then this is the elastic one. So let me copy this one. It is very easy because I do not have to type again. So this will be, this one is plus and that one is minus. Okay. Now if I plot this, see this one is sigma theta theta. It is gradually coming towards 10. This is sigma RR gradually coming towards the 10 also because K equals to 1. Now, just to compare, if I would have considered elastic all the way elastic, then what could be the value? Okay, so let me take this. Sorry, I can copy both of them and take it over there. See, if I would have considered elasticity all the way, then this would have been RE would have been A, and this would have been PI. Okay. 1 minute. P naught 1 plus A square by G2. Oh, what is G2? Not G2. This would have been 2, and this would have been, that means normal elastic. I'm just now I overlap, then you will see. See, this one is elastic, this one is elastic. Okay, not considering Mohr Coulomb. This one is considering Mohr Coulomb, these two. You see how it is changing? And I will now show you by drawing it and why it is happening like that. So only thing you remember that these two values, this is 6, 6.9 and is used to be 18. Mohr Coulomb says this rock is going to fail and it is going to have only 6.9. But elasticity said it is 18. Now actually, what has happened? Okay, here. Now you see what has happened here. Let me show you. You have seen the actual number. Now you see what has happened. In elastic, there is absolutely no problem, right? We know this will be, what will be this value? P naught minus Pi, that is the maximum it will go, right? And that's why you are saying, sorry, 2 P naught minus Pi, that is the maximum it will go. Because you have applied a internal pressure. And that's why this is 18. So then it is gradually coming down and this is going towards 10. This is about 10. But what Mohr Coulomb has said, but with the given data, whatever the CF and phi F, CR, phi R, the data we have given, this 18 MPa is not sustainable. It is not going to hold there. So right at the boundary, this is going to fail, and this stress is going to come somewhere around 6.9 here. And it says this is 2.5 meter, and this is going to go up to some 3.13 meter, right? Up to this meter, it is going to go and it is going to fail. So from here up to this, that means this is my failure, that circle. So up to this, it is going to rise from there. Okay, it is going to rise from there. So the stress will be, if I can draw the stress, it will be something like this. It is going to increase gradually. And how much it will go? That is also very interesting. How much it will go? It will go up to a value called 16.73. So it will go to a value up to, it will increase, sorry, it will increase to 16.73 above this, let's up to this. So this is, and then it will be elastic and gradually it will meet this. So you see this zone, the pressure what was there has shifted. The peak has shifted here. So this is what we call the failure or yielded zone. And in the failure zone, we cannot have that much of stress. We cannot have that much of stress. And that is what is saying. It come down to 6.9 only. From 18, it come down to 6.9. Okay. And if you see another value, you see the sigma RR, that is also down. Okay. The sigma RR is also down. So sigma RR will go something like this up to this, and then gradually it will go to the elastic. So the corner of the excavation is going to fail. This is what Moore-Coulomb is telling us. Now, if you see the same thing for two tunnel, see the elastic thing will tell me these will be peak like this, there is also peak like this. And then I told you for the overlapping region there will be little bit of high stress because this is individual. But since they overlap, they may be little bit of something like this. This is the stress looks like in the elastic zone in here. Okay. But now if you consider that this pillar here, this is the pillar, is going to fail due to Moore-Coulomb, then this much stress it will not take, this will come some around here and it will go like this. So the stress will be something like that. Okay, gradually it will go. If it further fails, then it will further come down and gradually it will be something like this. Okay, this is the core which is holding this pillar. With rest, everything has failed. So this is how on a pillar basically stress varies. Okay, and gradually the pillar right here, the pillar get cracks, and if there's this extend, then maybe entire pillar get cracked, and then the entire this excavation may collapse because pillar cannot hold this stress anymore. Okay, so this is how failure process still occurs. What I'm telling you, this may happen very quickly depending on the material type, or it may take time also, maybe 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, also it may take. Like tomorrow we are going to see a mine, a copper mine near Garcila. The excavation was done about 15 years ago. And they want us to check whether it is still holding. So what we are going to see there is whether this kind of failure process has already occurred or not after 15 years. They are claiming, mine is claiming that nothing has happened, but one may to be very sure before they do further excavation. So some failure process will occur, and in this case what I showed you is by Moore-Coulomb, and how the Moore Coulomb criteria is put into practice for understanding the failure process. Okay, so far you have any questions? Okay, maybe it may take a little bit time for you to digest everything. But let me give you another very important aspect of this entire analysis. See here, I go again back to example. See, I got a RE and I already know. So what is the failure zone? That means RE minus A, I can find out. This will be RE minus A. So around 0.6 meter, we are saying is the failure zone. 0.6, 0.4 meter, 0.64 meter. Now, if I have to protect it by what we call a rock bolt, then the length of the rock bolt should be at least 0.64 meter. Okay, what I'm meaning is by telling you that right here now, if I have to give this PI, then I will be requiring a bolt, because it is failure is all around. I have to need a bolt which is going all the way. Okay, so if this is 0.64 meter, my bolt length should be more than that. So my RE minus A is very important factor to me. This is giving an idea of bolt length. How much long my rod should be, because I'm going to insert it. Okay, with a grout and everything. So this is the minimum length required. It should be more than that. So this RE minus A is a very important factor here. We get an idea of the support system also, how much and how long it will be required. There is another interesting point here which I would like to discuss is, let me delete, I think I will delete later. Let's assume there is a piece of rock right here where this is S, and in this direction also, S. Let's assume, okay, it's a square type of thing. Or I can put A and B for that matters, for A and B. This is a piece of rock hanging like this, okay, because this area is broken. So the total volume of this, we can tentatively write AB into RE minus A. Okay, this is the total volume. We can roughly write like this. Now, if this has a density or unit weight of gamma R, let's say, then the weight of this block is gamma R into V. This is the weight of this block. Now, this weight of this block is ready to fall. Okay, Now you see, to protect this fall, we have already applied some PI. Right? Some PI we have already applied before. Now, can anybody tell me, when I have assumed PI, did I consider this weight in my analysis? Did I consider that weight in PI when I have assumed? Anybody? See, even in Carr solution, nowhere we have considered the density. I told you in the very beginning when I was doing this Carr solution that we do not consider density. But now we are going to consider it. Now you see, this PI what we have applied here, it doesn't have density. This consideration is not there. But now we are going to do. Let's say my total P now required PI plus this W gamma R AB RE minus A. Now let's say this cross-sectional area is 1. Okay, I consider as a 1 meter square. So I can take it out. Okay. But here I'm going to multiply a factor called C. This factor C goes from 0 to 1. If you give 1, this simply means these are all separated. Okay. This is all separated from here. So it is ready to fall. The entire weight is acting here. But if you give somewhere in between, let's say 0.4, 0.5, that simply means somewhere it is still, having some shearing effect. So it is not allowing it to fall so easily. And 0 means you have completely omitted this. It is still intact. It is not going to fall. Okay. So I have an equation something like this, and this is the total pressure required considering the density of the rock. Total pressure required. Okay. Now, can anybody tell me how this curve will looks like? PT versus PI. Can you tell me the shape of this curve? Anybody?
Sir, it is linear.
Sure.
Yes, sir, because equation I can see that is a straight line equation.
Is there any PI inside RE? Is there PI inside RE?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, yes.
Now can you tell me? What happened if PI is 0? Let's say 0. Okay. Let me show you here. I'm not sure whether it will work. Let's say I put pi 0 here. Okay, there is an issue because RE become extremely high. Okay, so this graph is not right. Okay, I can change it though. Just a minute. See what happened? It just shifted over there. Okay, that means you have more high RE. See, RE become 5.3 if it is 0. So the RE will be extremely high if pi is 0. So if RE is high, this one will dominate because this is 0. This one will dominate. So PT will be coming like this, a graph, because pi is sitting in the denominator. You can see there in RE, pi is sitting right in the denominator here. So as the pi is very low, the RE value will be high, and it is like a kind of a hyperbolic relationship. It will come, and then after some time, when it crosses, pi crosses that sigma RE, then it will be kind of straight line, because this one will have no effect, because this one will be 0. So it is something like this, it will come. So there is a minimum value, there is a pi for which PT is minimum. Okay, so the total pressure required, so we can optimize how much pi is required. See, as I told you, the pi will come from the support system, like rock bolt. I told you, some lining, either shotcrete, concrete, whatever lining. The pi comes from there. So we need to optimize that also, because that costs money. So if we know this kind of graph, then we know exactly where we have to put our pi, so that we can optimize the support system. We do not like to put too much support, which is unnecessarily expense. We also do not put, too less support where there will be a chance of collapse. So we want to get it into a place where we are comfortable with the support system, as well as monetarily it is okay. That's why this type of analysis we normally do, and you can see how Moore Coulomb criteria help us in doing this analysis. I can tell you this can also be done using Hook and Brown also, Hook and Brown criteria also, but it will become a iterative process. So you need a computer program to do that. Because hand calculation more or less impossible. But we normally do it Hook and Brown because this is rock mass values. Okay, so a problem of this sort is there. I thought it is there. 9.11. So you may see that thing in your home. In 9.11, this is the example given. The utilization of Moore Coulomb criteria in designing the support system. Okay. So this completes your rock and rock mass failure criteria and its application. Now, next time we have now many options what to do. What is Professor Verma doing? Then I can decide what need to be done next. Is he already done pillar stability analysis? In situ stresses is done. Rock mass classification also done, right? You are not attending his classes?
Sir, rock mass classification is going on. Actually, it's about to end, but
Acha, in situ stresses done.
yes, sir.
So these are the two things is done. Okay, I will ask him. I think he is going to tell you about design of pillars. That is not started. Design of pillars.
No, sir.
No. Okay, I think he will complete design of pillar, I am sure. Then the thing is left. Okay, what I will do, I'll tell you a little bit about because support system you need to know a little bit, otherwise it will not be complete. So next class I'm going to do the support system. Not whole detail. How many classes are left for me? Maybe 4 classes, right? Yeah, in the 4 classes, I think I will be able to complete. So the last thing what I will do is the support system for you. So any questions so far from today's this thing? We have about 5-10 minutes if you want to discuss anything.